Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Sunday Morning Coffee with Lisa. I'm Spiritual Coach Lisa Hopp. It is Sunday, February 6, 2022. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're new, welcome. Please be sure to check out my website at lisahopp.com for all about my work, my services, my upcoming events. I would appreciate it so much. You can also find me on Facebook under Spirit Teacher Lisa Hopp. And for those of you who listen every week and give me such wonderful comments, suggestions, and support, thank you so much. Welcome back. I am happy that all of you are here and are interested in my conversations that I guess I'm having with myself, but all of you as well. It's a solo chat fest. Thank you again for joining me on this wonderful Sunday. The topic today, how you define yourself. Because you do. You define yourself. You define your life. The definition of who you are is completely up to you. It is not up to anybody else in this life, in your world, in the overall world. It is only up to you. How are you doing? How do you feel about that? Let's talk about it. So I came to this understanding to speak about this because I was away this week. I planned months ago to have a bit of a winter break because it's good for my mental, physical, emotional health and well-being. And when I was away, I had the wonderful opportunity to be able to observe people, talk to people, and to see happy people. To see happy people also away on a winter break or just living their life the way they want to on their own terms. I got to meet and speak with a couple that had just started the RV life. They had given up, for the most part, their roots and were now going to be traveling to city as their spirit hit them. They were defining their own lives. They were making it come about. They are also living with no apologies and not feeling they had to make excuses or live according to how others feel they should live. Now, this is not a deeper, controversial topic. This is not about breaking rules about society or, anything like that. This is about following your spirit. And also feeling comfortable with yourself. Some of us, many of us were raised with the belief that we should work 9 to 5, that we acquire a skill. Perhaps that means going to a trade school or going to a college and getting a degree. Perhaps some of us were even raised that we should stay at home because that happened in earlier times and in some cases still happens today. There's a belief system, a programming that was handed down to us of how it should be. But we're coming to understand that it's not about how it should be, but it's about following our life purpose, our heart, our soul, our will. That is what it's all about. Do you know that 30 years ago or more, I remember hearing about it quite a while ago, that there would come a time when we would understand that we were supposed to follow our life purpose, that we were supposed to break from societal norms. Well, guess what? We're here. And that's quite a challenging time for some. Even people that I spoke to this past week were coming to terms with these changing times and trying to understand it. The words were used in my time, in my day. It was like this: I was taught this by my father or my mother. And because current times are going against their belief system or what they were taught, they were questioning, is there a new generation that is lazy? Is there a new generation that maybe has a skill in one way but doesn't have a skill in another, like changing oil or changing a tire or something essential and necessary? And so they were adjusting, or let's say understanding that perhaps this is a time when they are put in a spot to adjust, or perhaps they didn't want to adjust at all and just wanted it to be where it was, how it was. When we're challenged inside, it can be very scary when our belief systems are challenged. That is why there's a time going on as well where people want to control what is taught, what is believed. It all stems from fear. It all stems from wanting things to stay the way they were. But we are in a time when the 5-dimensional energy of heaven is lowering itself to earth. The energetic frequency is changing. And so it means that all of us are being challenged to change with it. And that change involves finding where you're meant to be, who you are, how you define yourself, being the individual, being unique. You're not supposed to be a cookie cutter anymore. You're not supposed to get up and dress like everybody else and learn what everybody else is learning and living your life the way your forefathers lived it. It's a time when you decide who you are, while still within the realm of societal rules and understandings. So you see that challenge, don't you? Because some are coping with it, some are taking it too far and wanting to break all norms, and it's redefine themselves in a way that perhaps can be a little bit chaotic. Perhaps they're making it about religion or about race. But it all, as I said, comes from the challenge of adjusting to these new times and wanting, because of fear and because of a comfort zone, to try to fight against it and keep things in place. But like fighting against a tsunami wave, there will be a surrender, and you'll have to join the current. It will have to come in some way, shape, or form. But for now, for all of us, it is best as much as possible to promote a state of peace, tranquility, serenity, while following our path. And understanding it's all right to follow our path. It's all right to do what hasn't been done before within our friendships, within our families. It's all right to live life according to our own terms. So I hope that's clear. I hope there's an understanding that within that peaceful realm, it is writing and being clear and understanding who you are and how you would define yourself. I tend to do a bit of a meeting with myself here and there. I think quite frequently. where I ask myself how I feel about certain things and what my goals are and how I'm doing. Am I kind enough? Am I grateful enough? Am I blocked up? Do I have to remove blocks? I am constantly in a state every day of learning, watching videos, listening to people, becoming and evolving into that greatest version of myself. There is ultimately entirely a teacher within me, and I say that in a very humble and a very grateful way. I'm always in the realm of student in order to become the greatest teacher. I always want to learn something else. I also want to have freedom in my life. I want to be free to do whatever I'm called to do and not have any blocks to it, whether that be mentally, emotionally, physically, holistically, whatever it may mean, financially. I want to have that freedom, and that's all that it's about for me is freedom. It's not about having more than another or, having a certain dollar amount in my wallet. It's about that freedom to be able to live my life according to how I've defined myself. And I define myself, as I said, quite often. I am like that, or I am not like this. And that's okay. It's all right. But also with the understanding that I have to get along with everyone. And I want to get along with everyone. I had a little meeting with myself in the last few days where I corrected something within myself. Taking the peaceful route, did not use my voice this past week in a moment, and I regret that. There was a moment when I could have spoken up justifiably and for justice, and I didn't do it because I was taking the more peaceful route of not wanting to stir up anything. And it wasn't right. It wasn't a moment of honor for me. Now, I'm making that sound larger than it was. It was just a conversation that I was having with someone where I let them speak their beliefs in their mind, and I just let them talk instead of speaking up with positivity and some truth. What they were speaking wasn't entirely correct. I found that this week, that people are where they are, and not just this week, but I traveled this week. People are where they are in what they want to believe, and they know and believe they're right within themselves, whether they're factually correct or not. I even had someone pretty much say to me that because I did not agree with them, that I was not informed. I am very informed. I make it a point to be informed. I also, and I may, for those of you who listen every week, I use my intuition first, and then I find out the information to back up my intuition, to validate my intuition. I'm always open. But when I know that I'm correct, you cannot change my mind. And I'm very confident about the knowledge that I have about life, about circumstances. But people are now in their place. They want to believe a belief. They want to have a belief. And they don't want to be contradicted. And it wasn't a huge discussion. It was simply, I said to the person, I don't know about that. That was my way of saying that's not correct. And they said, well, you have to be informed. Well, we have to be very sure about how we're informed. I heard a wonderful person this week say separately, you can't believe any of the media, always be informed. Well, that's not true. That lumps everybody together 100%. That would be like me being lumped 100% with another female. You can't do it. And I was concerned when they said be informed, because they were saying it on YouTube. Were they suggesting I should go to YouTube to be informed? Tread carefully. Where are those facts coming from? The internet? Tread carefully. How about books? How about experts? Actual experts, not opinion makers. We must be very careful about closing ourselves off, but also be open to information. It's so important during these times when repetition causes newfound beliefs. It's programming. If you're told something over and over and over again, you start to believe it must be true because you keep hearing it. When it's just programming, oftentimes. Now, if you want to believe certain beliefs, that's part of defining yourself. Who are you? Where do you wish to belong? I wish to fit among everyone as much as I possibly can, because we are all one, and what affects one affects the all. You're more important. You matter more than you can possibly believe. If you have a bad day, your bad day goes out into the universe like a ripple effect. If you feel sad inside, that goes out. If you're angry, that ripple goes out. If you mean harm, that ripple goes out. Now, positive energy is stronger than negative energy. So as I've said before in my podcasts, it's why group prayer is so powerful, because it's group prayer. Usually that is praying for healing or a positive outcome. And when you are in a group hoping for a positive outcome, that's very powerful. The universe is going to work for you harder. But it doesn't mean that your single group, your single prayer doesn't have power. It does. Because you see, it's inside and it's still energy. So you still ripple it out. It still causes a difference. It still makes an impact. Always. So we want our outcome from our bodies, our energy. We want our ripple effect to be the best it possibly can be. Positive, grateful, peaceful, faith-filled, happy, joyful, peace. I want to say peaceful again. Released. The spiritual experts will tell you the way to manifest the fastest is to feel all that, but also just to feel a release. I have it. It's mine. All the concern about it is over. It is now done. When you get that going inside, you cannot help but attract all that you need to see it on the outside. So try as much as you can to be in that state of positive energy, and not positivity in a shallow way, but positivity, feeling it, thinking it, knowing it. That will bring about the life you want and the earth you want. So back to defining yourself. When you define yourself, you have to do it in a state of self-love. Feel comfortable with who you are. Feel blessed. Wear your purple hair and your tattoos if you want. Wear your Crocs. Or wear dresses. Wear a suit every day if you want. The great teacher Bob Proctor, who just passed within the last few days, he was featured on The Secret. He was known for wearing a suit. It is said that in his last days, he wasn't wearing one, and he requested that nothing be said about it. He showed up, even in his home studio. Zoom didn't matter. He always had that suit on. That's who he was. He showed up ready for greatness. That was who he was. That's how he defined himself. Who are you? What weight are you? Define yourself as that weight now, even if you don't have that weight yet. Just feel it, know it, and walk around like it is complete. Where do you want to live? Do you want to move about, or do you want to be in a certain location? And remember this. When you complain, when you are frustrated, when you are restless, and I mean restless in a way that you don't want to do anything about it, you just stay in a state of restlessness, you are also defining yourself, and you are defining your world. And what you put out, you will get back. We just have to understand how powerful we are. The world that you are living in today, the world that you see around you in your room, in your living room, in your town, within your job, that is the definition of yourself that you have already created. You already put out the energy and it came back to you. The wonderful thing is, you are creating tomorrow today. Your future. You can redefine yourself or tweak your definition at any time. Who are you? What do you want? Are you a go-getter, or are you laid back? And then you have to accept it. Accept who you are. Love who you are. See, if you find peace in that, then you will see things lining up that will support your peace. So let's say a definition of yourself is a retiree in Florida. Whether you're a retiree in Florida or not right now, feel all of that. Feel it, know it, see it in your world, whether it be through a vision board or just pictures on the internet. However you want. Eventually, circumstances will line up for you to be a retiree in Florida. It's that simple. I saw it again yesterday. And I sometimes wish to speak, but I don't want to be a lecturer. It's just such a desire for people to understand their power. I saw this post again that said, I'd go to Bora Bora, but I'm Pora Pora. Well, guess what? You'll always be Pora Pora. If that's what you want to believe, if that's how you choose to define yourself and your world. So much I want to say when I see these posts. You're stopping yourself. You're creating your life. Is that what you truly want? But see, people are in their state of belief. Belief that you have to work hard for money and you'll probably never have enough, or you'll have just enough. They see what's around them they've already created, and they think it's their story. It's not your story, it's today's story. Your story can change and is changing all the time. But if you stay with believing that you are Pora Pora, then you will always be Pora Pora. The universe wants to reward. It wants to give you infinite wealth and love and health. But it can't give it to you through a locked door. The locked door of your beliefs, your thoughts, your feelings. If you believe that young people are lazy because they're walking away from jobs that aren't paying them a living wage, and you say, in my day, that's a belief. It not only stops you from understanding, it stops you also from opportunities, doors, and windows. It blocks you up as much as it can block anybody else, because it speaks of limits. Encourage people, whether within yourself quietly or verbally to others. Encourage them to follow what they love. Want and desire for everyone to have a living wage. Want and desire for everyone to be able to have freedom. Watch the whispers that pop up. that say there isn't enough to go around, or that people should live the way it was instead of the way it's going to be. Be informed. Widen your scope. Do not be narrow. It will serve you. At the very least, just believe in possibilities. Is it possible it'll be all right? Is it possible it'll work out sooner? There was a man, very nice man, with a business, a transportation business, that was telling me this week he has to wait 8 months for a new vehicle. And my response was, it could work out sooner. Why not? Maybe it can be 5 months instead of 8. Instead of being upset or disappointed or angry or believing of a reality set in stone like that. Believe always, it can always work out. For your higher good and the higher good of all. That's when the miracles take place. Always. I define myself as a believer in miracles, as a believer in justice, as a believer in the overall good. I believe that I know actually that everything's always working out in my favor. And I know it's always working out in your favor. This is how I define myself. I know and believe that gratitude is powerful. I know that if I love my life, life will pay me back with reasons to love it more. I know that my reality is in this moment, my physical reality, and that if I shift my consciousness, my thoughts, my feelings, my words even greater and larger, that will arrive at my door. What's happening today is just happening today. You've gotten through so far every challenge. If you're listening to this, you made it through every storm so far. What? It's another one. You can do it. Live your life inside knowing that I can have what I want. I can rise to any challenge. I create my life. You're so powerful. Embrace it. You don't have to live in fear. You don't have to worry about not having enough. You don't have to worry about change. Change is always good, even if it doesn't seem it at first. There is not a grand conspiracy against you. While money rules this world, you also are the ruler of money. If you want more, feel and think yourself having it. And catch your thoughts and your beliefs about it that may block it. Love yourself. Love your life. Walk around with a smile. If you have a limitation physically, walk around with a smile. Any limitations you feel you have, walk around with a smile. Love yourself the way the greatest energy loves you. The one that you're going to when your physical body and your will on this earth is done. It loves you more than you can understand, but you can reach some of that connection inwardly. And that is the way to manifestation. Never hear no for yourself. Be sure. Love again who you are. Own the magnificent creation of you. Thank you so much for joining me on this Sunday. I hope you are well. I hope you have a wonderful week. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and share if you're hearing this on YouTube. And please be sure to go to my website, lisahop.com. You are welcome to follow me on Facebook under Spirit Teacher Lisa Hop. Thank you so much again, and I hope you have a wonderful, blessed Sunday and a blessed week.